The police have released footage of the terrorist responsible for the recent attacks at St. Agrius' church. He goes by the name of Dante. Remember his face, people. If you see him, inform the police immediately, but do not approach him. He has a history of physical violence and is a known sexual deviant. This is Bob Barbas, just doing God's work.
Welcome, everybody. It looks like we were interrupted with a breaking news story, fresh out the Raptor News Network. So once again, everybody, welcome to Stay Tuned Podcast, Episode 11. You can see it up there somewhere. I'm Tim, and to my internet left, I'm
Tom.
That guy, Tom. So, Tom, how's your week been, man?
Oh, it was pretty good. Not too bad at work. Nice to be done, though. The weather is nice. It's nice and sunny outside, but probably not as good as your week has been since you had the day off.
I did, and I'm on vacation this week, so
Man,
it's been great.
Lucky.
But, so, we had a game that got released this week. It's not a new game by any means, but it is a updated version for the PS4 and the Xbox One. It is DMC, the Definitive Edition.
Yes.
And, well, I know a lot of people were really upset whenever this game came out, and we'll talk about the original games first before we get started. So did you ever play any of the original Devil May Cry's, like on the PS2, or even like I think Devil May Cry 4 was on the Xbox 360?
No, I never played any of them. So this is actually my first experience playing it. Was on the PC sometime last year.
Yeah. So I played the original like within like the first month it was out, and 2 and 3 and 4. I mean, they were great games for their times, and the video you guys see, that's from the HD re-release edition that came out with, like, I believe it was 1, 2, and 3 on the Xbox 360, on the PS3. You know, you could get them for, like, I think it was like $40 or $50. Really good price, actually. And going back and playing them, I don't feel like they held up nearly as well as I remember them back whenever it was, you know, the new thing on the PS2. I mean, the first one was just Dante. The whole way through, you found out a lot of stuff about him. Then Devil May Cry 2, you had Dante and some other character. I can't remember her name now. That's how forgettable she was.
That's always good.
And then 3 was the tower, where you're just constantly trying to climb a tower. I think that one might have also been on 360 as well. And then I remember 4 just being ridiculously hard. But the games are great. I think the reason why people get just, you know, so upset about these games is just because it's like a cult following. I mean, when you think of like a hack and slash game, Tom, what's the first game that you think of when you think of hack and slash?
God of War.
Yes, exactly, God of War, which is another fantastic series, by the way.
Yes, it's amazing.
But I mean, this game, you know, God of War, I believe, was pretty much just the blades, and then you got like the hammer or like the fist. I mean, you had a couple different weapons, but Devil May Cry had guns with that.
Right.
And it was all about style and style points, and you got like grades as you went on playing. And the new one carried that over too, so it wasn't like they got rid of the meat and potatoes of the game. But the original series is great, but going back to revisit it, I just didn't enjoy it as much as I did before. I mean, the story's very cheesy. And
oh yeah, I mean, those games. It's just, I mean, I'm not saying just like a hard rock metal nightmare fantasy adventure thing.
Yeah, I'm not saying that the new one's story is like amazing, like, you know, like Last of Us or Heavy Rain, like great story. But I mean, it's
better than Heavy Rain.
Yeah. Oh, shut up! I hate whenever you say that. But no, definitely the original Devil May Cry series was great for its time. It's got that nice cult following, like, you know, Evil Dead had on, you know, DVD and, you know, in theaters or whatever. So Devil May Cry, if you still have a 360 or PS3 and you want to get the HD collection, by all means get it. It's a great playthrough for one time. It's going to feel kind of clunky, camera's kind of hard to control compared to other games like God of War or even the new release DMC if you played that one instead. So, with all that being said, I do have something else I want to play, and it's pretty much just sums up my thoughts on the new DMC series and everybody complaining about it. So let's check this out really quick. This is from the Angry Joe Show, one of my favorite YouTube channels, so let's watch.
Roll that beautiful beam footage.
Wow! Okay, So you got a bunch of people bitching on forums, pretty pissed off regarding DMC. I mean, an invasion on Metacritic. The user score is at 3.5. It started at 2.7.
You got me bewitched, 'cause I'm under your spell. 'Cause I am living in hell. I am living in hell.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's like a few people just posting on multiple accounts. As I checked, they all have one review on their history hating on DMC. In fact, the multiple versions of it. Okay, this is ridiculous, guys, okay? Is it as good of a game as some critics are saying and scoring? No, it's not. But does it deserve 2s and 0s? Angry fanboys are giving it? Hell fucking no! And I take offense to those fucking idiots who have no idea what a 1 out of 10 game is really like.
Alright, guys, so that's just something funny that just... I was one of those fanboys before that refused to play this game on 360 or PS3 when it came out. Not because the game was bad, because I was like, oh no, they're going to ruin the series. This ain't going to be the Resident Evil remake from the GameCube. It's going to be bad. And then I started reading the reviews on Metacritic from the players and telling me that the game is the worst game ever made, and they had that was pretty much all it said. Like, I hate, like, even on Amazon.com.
Just because his hair was different.
Yeah, on Amazon.com, like, this is not Devil May Cry, this is the worst game ever, and it's like, and there's no, like, verified purchase that the person purchased this game or even owns it,
right?
And they're reviewing it. But then Metacritic, like Angry Joe said, people are giving it, like, 100 out of 100, 90 out of 100, and I was like, okay, well, maybe this game has something. I had, like, a nice coupon, I picked it up, and I was blown away at how awesome this game is. And coming from the original series to this, I was like, this is the way it needs to move. I mean, yeah, Dante's not the same, but you can get the freaking costumes. You can get the new ones. You can have all that nice little, like, I want to have the white hair, not the black hair. I hate emo. Oh my God, slice my wrist. I don't like this. You know, it's just the way the character looks. But it plays so smooth, and especially like on the new one at 60 frames per second, it looks so smooth. I don't know. What was your first impressions?
Yeah, so I never played the original Devil May Cry games. So to me, all the nonsense about the he looks different, whatever, was just people being stupid, like always on the internet. Where who cares what he looks like? I don't care. They could have made him a girl. They could have, given him one arm. I don't care as long as it's fun to play. Like, it doesn't matter to me. I'll play as it doesn't matter what the character looks like to me. It kind of reminded me a lot of all the uproar over the Wind Waker, where everyone's like, "Oh, it doesn't look like Zelda from Ocarina of Time, so I don't like this. It's gonna suck." And it turned out to be the best game of all time. So,
according to you at least.
I'm right.
You are right. No, it's great.
Tim. But it's the same kind of thing where it's like, who cares what it looks like? Like, let's just see if it plays well. Let's see how the gameplay is, especially in these kind of games. Like you said earlier, the story's no Shakespeare. Like, it doesn't really matter what the story is. Like, sure, some people might be invested in the story for some reason, but, it doesn't matter. Like, I could have played this game on mute and just listened to my own music, and I still would have loved it.
But the music in the game is awesome. It goes with the game so well. But no, so you mentioned the story. So the story's pretty cut and dry. It still kind of follows the premise of the original, where Dante and his twin brother Virgil. Oh yeah, by the way, spoiler alert on the story. We don't go through most of it right now. But him and his brother are half demon, half angel. He's the son of Sparta. Yeah, they're Nephilim. He's the son of Sparta, the daughter of Eva, the angel, and yeah, so there's this other guy named Mundus who is like the ultimate evil, like, I don't know if he's the devil, but he's like, pretty much like his like lieutenant captain, whatever. And then he has like all these other demons that work for him, but it's actually a cool premise of the story. I like it a lot. He's controlling the world with debt. Pretty much, it's like me and Tom were talking about this before. I feel like this is kind of like a commentary on just society today. Like, everybody has debt. You have a house, you have a car, you have credit cards. Everything is just piling up against you, and the banks pretty much own you, however you want to look at it. But Then he also has this other stuff. It's called Virility. It's pretty much like, a Mountain Dew or a Red Bull, and it just keeps the planet docile. Yeah, there it is, Red Bull. It keeps the human population docile, but does not affect the Nephilim, which is Dante and Virgil. And their whole plan is to pretty much stop Mundus from destroying the world because, that's what they need to do. They need to save humanity or whatever.
Save the world.
Yeah, but there's a nice twist at the end of it, but I won't go in that far. But pretty much your whole premise of this story is to kill a bunch of demons and just, for the lack of a better word, just fuck shit up and look pretty good doing it. And it is awesome. It feels fluid. The combat just... So I was playing it the past couple days. I picked it up again, and it's great to play through again. Like I said, the camera works much better than the HD collection on the 360. But the thing that I like most about it was the combos and how they work. So whenever, sorry, you can't see what I see.
Uh-oh.
But whenever, around mission 5 is where the game gets really fun, because that's whenever you start unlocking a lot of the cool combos. Like you can get the stinger where like you charge across the map and you start stabbing your opponents really fast. You get a lot of cool. You get your demon weapons then, so you have a demon weapon and an angel weapon that do different things. You can pull platforms out. You can swing across platforms and stuff like that. Of course, that's all choreographed. It's supposed to be in there at certain points, but it feels great. It feels fluid. I love the combat. Everything about it so far. I'm almost finished with the game, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to give it a second playthrough and try and unlock everything. But how do you feel about the combat, Tom?
Yeah, this game probably is the best controlling of any hack and slash games that are out there. It just feels so good when you're doing all the combos and the different moves. Like you're beating someone up on the ground, you hit them into the air, you shoot them with your guns, you jump up, you hit them around a bunch. Then if you do certain moves, you can hit them even further into the air. And it's just like you can, repel yourself towards somebody, or you can knock somebody away from you and then go running after them. Like, there's all kinds of options, and it's just so fluid. And anytime that you can beat a group of enemies with, just doing one long continuous combo, it feels really, really good. Like, the only other game that I could even compare it to is Bayonetta, and that's created by the same guy who made Devil May Cry. So it's at the top of the class for any kind of hack and slash games.
Yep, I would definitely agree. I know, like, because you also have once you beat the first boss from the Virility area, then you go to the Raptor News Network station and you beat the second boss. You then get these really strong fist weapons that are pretty much equivalent to the original Devil May Cry, like the Ifrit fists. And then you also get like these like shurikens. They look like little like three-pointed stars. I'm not sure exactly what they're called, but you can also, with your D-pad left and right, you can switch between them. And then eventually you get like a shotgun and like a taser gun, so you can press up to switch those out, and you just chain these combos nonstop. So you can use your main sword. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called the Reaver. I forgot what it's called now. But you can use that sword, and then you can also just use right trigger, left trigger, and use Y and B to attack, and then X to pull them in with the demon weapon, or X with the angel weapon to pretty much like go straight to them and start attacking. So it feels, and you move so fast, and just constantly moving, constantly going, pulling off combos. It feels really gratifying. Whenever you can wipe out an entire area of enemies, and you're just seeing yourself just flying all across the screen, bringing enemies to you, doing these sick combos that you unlock, and it's just sick, it is actually pretty sick. I feel really like gratified. I'm like, yeah.
And then with that metal music in the background, you're
it's like this nice like
cheap
metal techno blend that's going on. It just reminds me of the band The Browning, which is pretty much just like metal dubstep, metal
gross.
techno or whatever. No, it's great.
Browning.
But yeah, like it just, and then like you think about like the well, let's get into actually like how the game actually plays. Like it's very weird to say this, but the game has platforming in it. Like when I think about platforming personally, I think of Mario or the amazing Donkey Kong Country games from the Super Nintendo.
Nah, I don't think of those. Those suck.
Nintendo. But this game has like 3D platforming, and it's done really well. Like I don't feel like I'm ever hindered by the the camera at all. Maybe once or twice, but that's bound to happen no matter what. But how do you feel about the actual gameplay? Like whenever you're like traveling between fights and not always fighting.
Yeah, I really liked it. Because again, I kind of assumed it would be a game where I'm fighting, and then I just run to the next area, and cutscene plays or whatever. But there is actually a ton of kind of traversal and platforming and things like that, and it's cool, when you can double jump and then you use your, I don't know what they're called. I'm bad at remembering those kind of names, but like you kind of fly forward and you're kind of gliding, and then you can chain onto something and pull yourself towards it, and then while you're doing that, you let go of it and you pull something towards you, and then you chain yourself towards that. Like it's very fluid, just like the combo system. Like no matter what you do, it feels really good. So moving between the different platforming segments is actually a fun part of the game, even though you'd think I just want to kill stuff. I don't really want to be platforming around and all that. But it is a lot of fun, and there's a decent amount of exploring to find those creepy dudes who are like against the wall that it's just like their head and they're just kind of like this, just kind of writhing there. And, just like in the video clip it just showed, but, trying to find all that kind of stuff, and the platforming is actually fun, makes it rewarding and fun to actually go find all the secrets and all the keys and doors and things like that.
Yep, I would agree. I mean, then also just if you look at this video clip right now that's playing, like the background and the way that the game looks, it looks fantastic. I also
the levels are the best.
this. Yeah, like so the whole premise is that you're pretty much always in limbo whenever you're fighting, which is the difference between like Earth and it's like that waiting place. Like it's always talked about mythology, like between heaven and hell and Earth, it's that weird place where you go.
Purgatory.
You're not quite dead. But having that free reign, compared to like the original games where you're always like in a castle or something, like you're always confined to like a hard area. Now it's like we can make these crazy, vibrant worlds that just look ridiculous, but they're fun. And there's like this other challenge, all these enemies just spawning out of the ground, jumping out of the walls. It's awesome. And I think it looks really good. So I mean, people have been writing this game off, because it's not the Devil May Cry. He doesn't have white hair. He, doesn't do this. He does that. It's not Dante. Team Ninja has ruined this game. I would completely disagree. Especially for, if you have an Xbox One or PS4 and you haven't played this yet, I highly, highly, highly encourage people to play it. Just one playthrough. I mean, it's $40. This isn't even a $60 game.
Yeah, it's a fantastic deal. Just on top of being an amazing game, like this game is worth every penny you pay for it, and the fact that they only made it $40 is kind of incredible.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, here, I'll turn the volume up real quick. I mean, see if we got any music actually playing. The music sounds good. It goes with what's going on. I mean, you're supposed to be in a club, and there's club music playing. And you're killing stuff to this music, and it fits so well. So, I mean...
Yeah, and, like, the level design in general is just incredible. Like, the whole Raptor News Network, which is a clear Fox News reference parody, you're traveling through pretty much on top of all the graphics that would be on a Fox News kind of broadcast, where, like, the words come at you like freedom, truth, patriotism, guns, whatever. You're like flying through it, and like you see the Raptor News logo like come by you and stuff. Like, it's awesome because those original Devil May Cry games, they look good for the PS2, but they were brown, they were black, they were red. Like, they were very basic, but this game is so vibrant and colorful. Like, it's cool because it's got that kind of, at least the art style that I like. I enjoy it with the whole angels and demons kind of thing, and it's all kind of gross, but it's also incredibly vibrant at the same time, which makes for a really cool contrast.
Yes, it does. I mean, I think about, like you said, like the words just coming at you. Like, there's just points in the game where you're just doing stuff, and it's just like, it says like trapped comes across the screen, like on the walls, and it says like whenever you're in like the virility factory, it says like whenever you switch over to limbo finally, like the thing comes up and it says like obesity, control, sloth. Like, it has like all these like weird things that go across it, but it's like, man, this is really cool. Like, like, I don't like think obesity is like a funny thing, but it's like, this is talking about like today's society as well. Like we talked about before, it's like a miniature commentary, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't know how else to describe it. I think the game's fantastic. I've enjoyed every minute I've played it, and I don't know what else to say. If you have not played these games, whether it's on 360, Xbox One, PS4, PS3, whatever,
Get this one.
Yes, I urge you to pick.
Just get this one.
Yes, just if you have an Xbox One or PS4, $40. I mean, you could pick it up. I've been playing it off and on today, and I've pretty much finished most of the game. And just playing through it once feels great. Playing through it, I'll probably play through it at least one more time, and I have to do the DLC because I did not play the DLC on 360, and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy that just as much. But if I had to rate this game overall, I guess I would probably give it like an 8, maybe a 9 out of 10. What about you, Tom?
Yeah, I would definitely give it a 9. Like this, there really isn't anything that that I think is bad about the game. Like I think with the story not being incredible, or
maybe the length's
not
a little
really
bit short, but that's about it.
Yeah, even then, like I don't care. Like I thought it was a good length. I think I beat it originally on the PC in 9 hours, like maybe 8 hours because I played a little bit of the DLC there too. But it's a good length for what it is. Like it's always fun the entire time. It doesn't ever overstay its welcome. A couple things here and there, but I think I'd give it a 9. It's an incredible game.
Yeah, I would completely agree. Like, there's just not too much that holds it back. Like, I don't see why people are so upset about this. Like, I guess it just goes back to, rating something that you haven't even played before.
It's internet rage and stuff. Yeah, there's no reason to. Yeah, there's no reason to take anyone's word for a game that doesn't own the game before it ever comes out.
Yeah, exactly. Like
there's just no reason to pay attention to it.
I guess another story about that. I was looking on Amazon when I was at work. Just keeping my company alive because they really need help, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was reading reviews about GTA 5 for the Xbox One, and I was like, man, I wonder if this is any better than the 360. Like, I enjoyed the 360. What did they do different besides first-person view? And there was like a handful of people that were just ragging, saying the game was crap, it constantly crashed, blah 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 blah. And then I pulled up their profile, and they rated the same game, GTA 5, on the PS4, a 10 out of 10, saying how amazing it was, and they had the verified purchase, but they were PS4 fanboys, because if you looked at their other reviews, the Xbox One was a 1 out of 10, it's freaking awful, get rid of this system, die Bill Gates, die, live Sony forever.
You just, like, unless it's somebody that you trust, or a website that you trust, like, just don't, like, you're hearing us talk about it, but, if someone's going to be so extremely negative about something or so extremely positive without ever playing it, you can't take it into account. If they've played it, that's one thing, but before it ever comes out, or if it's something clear like that where it's like, I love the PS4, like, just don't even pay attention to it.
Yes.
Especially not on Metacritic. Metacritic user reviews are just the worst, the absolute worst.
I always look for like on Amazon, I always look for like the 4 out of 5 stars, and on GameStop, I look for like the 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 9 out of 10s, because I want to know what's wrong with the game, and that's where usually the honest reviewers are.
Right. Yeah.
Like the only game I would say that truly, without a doubt, deserves a 10 out of 10 is The Last of Us. Like, the length is really, really long, including cutscenes. You're looking at like 15, 20 plus hours, but yeah, like just I know we're on a different tangent than DMC at this point, but I feel like this is necessary because this game has gotten a lot of flack for absolutely no reason. It's a fantastic game. I mean, if you're looking for just something to pick up for the weekend, like from the Redbox, or if you can, or like from your Family Video, whatever video store's closest, and you look at this game and you're like, oh my god, he has black hair, he's so emo, he's so emo.
Right.
Pick it up, try it out. You will not be disappointed.
For sure.
So. I know that's pretty short description of DMC. I don't know what else to say about it. The game's fantastic. The gameplay's great.
It's really good.
Combat's great. Story's it's okay. It's a lot better than the original ones. And yeah, the upgrade system's great. So we're not going to cut short at like 25 minutes. There's another game that's coming out this Tuesday, and it's had a couple different betas, and it's part of a long franchise. Tom, I think you know what I'm talking about.
Hold on. Which one is it? Ooh, it's
Final Fantasy.
Resident Evil.
No,
Final Fantasy 0.
No, Def Leppard.
Mario Party 10.
Mario Party 10. Yes, there it is. No. So Battlefield Hardline comes out this Tuesday, and also Resident Evil Revelations 2, the physical copy comes out this Tuesday, and Episode 4 gets released on the digital worlds that has been coming out weekly this Tuesday as well. So we will be covering Resident Evil next week, but we kind of want to touch on Battlefield. So Battlefield 4 got a pretty bad rep pretty quick, and for good reason. The game was at launch was pretty much unplayable. I luckily did not play it at launch. I picked it up I picked it up maybe like 3 weeks later, and I picked it up on the 360, and it was okay. It wasn't nearly as bad as everybody said it was, but then again, that was also like launch week. You got to kind of take it for what it is. But the Battlefield Hardline has had, I believe, 2 different betas now. There was one last June.
A long time ago at E3.
Yeah, and that game was pretty much unplayable. It was.
I didn't play that one. I heard
did.
It was terrible.
It was terrible. I played it, and like I remember shooting a guy in the back, and he didn't die. Then all of a sudden, I died, and he was like in the room next to me. Or it was something. It was a couple weird things to where I quit playing it. I played like 2 games. It said like submit a bug report. I was like, this game is effed. And
farted.
But because of user feedback, though, they pushed it back, which is weird because guess who's behind this game? EA. Guess what EA likes? EA likes their money a lot. So they pushed it back, and I'm very happy about this. It's coming out this week, the 7th. Is it the 17th already? Holy crap.
17th, yep.
March 17th it comes out, and the last beta was, what was that, like late January, early February sometime?
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we played that together, and I know I was surprised. I enjoyed it. What about you?
I initially didn't really like it. I think
hated
I said
Heist. You hated it.
I'm never ever playing this stupid game ever. Like Battlefield 4, I liked, but when it first came out, I had it on PC and it just didn't work. Like, there were maps I'd just go into, I'd have no sound.
Yeah, I had that issue.
It was like the level just wouldn't load correctly. Like there was all sorts of craziness. And then this one, I went into a heist mission and it was not fun in any way. It's like, well, never mind. I think I turned it off after like one game. They're like, no, you should try it. Play Conquest. Conquest is good. So I did, and I played it with you, and it was way more fun.
Yeah.
Obviously, Battlefield being such a team game is a lot of fun to play in a team because when you're with a bunch of randoms, no one wants to talk. No one wants to coordinate. So
especially on
that
a
was a lot of fun.
64-player server, 32 versus 32. Yeah. You kind of need a little bit of coordination. If there's 3 or 4 people talking, can make a huge impact on a single objective. So. And
if you like miss one of the vehicles at the very beginning of the map and you have to run for like a kilometer, like you're just like, oh my god, fuck this.
This is my
like
biggest
you need
pet
somebody
peeve.
to talk to, and it's one of those things where you're like, okay, I need someone to play with so I can coordinate. We can take A or B or E or whatever together, and then that mode with the cars with like the movable Hotwire, yeah, with the movable like domination points almost like conquest points. That was super cool. I only played it for a couple rounds, but I thought that was awesome. So I'm actually going to pick it up even after the first game I played of it. I was like, I'm never playing this dumb game. So I'm part of the problem.
No, you're right. But so what you said about like if you don't get a car at the beginning, you're screwed. The thing I hate the most about the Battlefield franchise was the inbounds, and I feel like they fixed it a lot with this one. So there's mostly just transport vehicles. There's like a like for the criminals, there's like an SUV you get with like a turret on top that has like guards on both your left and your right, but your front and your back is exposed, and you can shoot people while they're in that turret. You can kill them pretty quick with like normal bullets, like you kill somebody else. So if they're not looking at you, you can take out their turret gun, and you're like, man, I just made a huge impact compared to like Battlefield 4, where there was like the turret was like remote controlled inside the vehicle, so you were like, I gotta take out this whole tank or else we're screwed.
Right.
So that way you're at least taking out somebody. Then everybody else is in the vehicle, and for them to shoot, they have to completely get out of the window, which I think is just cool.
That's so cool.
Which is just a cool
First
feature.
time I did that, it was one of those, what?
You're just like, what? I'm just sitting here spinning. Only thing is you can spin around 360 like nonstop in a circle. I'm like, how does that work? How does that work?
Really
but,
weird.
Looking back at that, but
hey, if it makes it more fun, then I don't really care. I don't need realism necessarily.
Yeah, I don't really.
Leave me around forever.
Yeah, but getting rid of like the tanks and all like the military mechanized infantry vehicles minus like the transport vehicles, I think is great. It puts more emphasis on the ground troops combat. Like, yeah, there's still like some attack helicopters, but there's quite a bit of cover to get in and out. So you're not constantly, getting droned on because you're trying to take this whole point that's outside and everything's outside. They still have Levolution, but the one thing I do not agree with is they went back to the Battlefield 3 mode of unlocking weapons to where it's cash based, which I like that a lot. So that way you're not like, oh, I want the M416. That gun's awesome. And I know it's unlocked pretty early on, but I like the Ace 23 from Battlefield 4, which is pretty much like all the way at the bottom of the list. You're trying to unlock that and you're wasting hours and hours trying to get it.
Oh yeah.
And then you get it and you're like level 25 and you're like, crap, now I got this gun and it's not even that good. I don't like it. Now I got to use it for another like 6 hours to unlock all the attachments and stuff. You can actually unlock stuff the way you want, but my favorite gun from the beta was the AK-74, which is used by the criminals and the bangers and not the cops or the SWAT or whatever it is. And you can't unlock it. But I did figure out today, so if you do have an Xbox One, it's only on Xbox One only, not 360 or PS4. If you pay $5, you can have the EA Access Pass. I've had this for like 3 months now. It's pretty awesome. And you can actually get 10 hours of a demo of the game. And pretty much, like, I turned it on this morning. It says you have 10 hours left. And then I turned it off for about 2 or 3 hours, played some Devil May Cry, and then I turned it back on. It says, hey, the boba effect, you have less than 9 hours to play. So I'm like, okay, so it's not just like a 10-hour cycle that you can only play within 10 hours of time. You have actually 10 hours to play. Yeah, and the whole entire game is unlocked. Every map, every multiplayer map, every game mode, the single-player campaign, you can completely play through that. So, I mean, if you have an Xbox One and you're like, do I want to play Hardline? Do I not want to play Hardline? Drop $5. You can play the entire game for 10 hours, and you'll get your answer. And my answer is yes. I am going to pick this up on Tuesday, and I'm going to hopefully enjoy it.
Keep it.
Yes, hopefully.
You get really mad when we play multiplayer games, though.
I get mad when I play Call of Duty. I hate Call of Duty, though.
Or Destiny PvP.
Sometimes. Depends on if I'm winning or not.
I think I might drop the $5 and download it tonight/tomorrow morning.
Yes, so if you do download it,
just
it takes
to
about
try
6.5, 7 hours. So download it while you're sleeping.
Great. That's awesome.
And
I love that games are like, you can download them now, like no matter what on any console. I think it's great, but like, good grief, these games are huge. Huge.
Yep. So Boogie the Bear asked, is there any jets in Hardline? To my knowledge, no. The only aerial vehicles are transport helicopters, which have miniguns on both sides, and there's like a scout helicopter, which is pretty much like the Apache from Battlefield 4, or just the scout helicopter. I think you have a secondary gunner, and then of course yourself. Yeah, and there's also something cool. I didn't know this, but tracking darts, RPGs, and smalls and stuff you pick up on the map. If somebody has a tracking dart on their vehicle, you can automatically lock onto that vehicle and shoot it. I'm like, that's cool.
Did you never play Bad Company 2?
No.
Oh, dude, it's the best one.
That was my Gears of War days, so.
That's true. I don't blame you for that. But Bad Company 2 is probably the best Battlefield, I think. But it had tracking darts like that, and it was really cool when you actually shot it, and then your teammates all shot rockets up at the helicopter or whatever and blew it to smithereens after it had been torturing you for an hour. Like, it was pretty satisfying. I'm definitely using the tracer darts for sure.
Yeah, and I have not ran into this yet. This was my biggest pet peeve from Battlefield 4, to finish this off, was whenever somebody was in like a helicopter, like a attack helicopter or scout helicopter, and their teammates could repair them from the inside.
Oh yeah, that was dumb.
I think the repair tool is just gone now. I think it is, or I think you can't use it while you're in the helicopter, because I haven't seen it yet. But then again, I've only played multiplayer for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, so maybe I just haven't ran across it.
I hope it's back. I hope they didn't get rid of it,
I
but
hope it's not in there.
I think it's dumb to like let people heal their own vehicle from inside of it.
Well, also something else, something small, I guess. The med packs now, whenever you throw them down, you have to be out of combat for like 3 seconds before they start to heal you. So you can't just like throw your med pack and like keep on popping in and out of cover, shooting at somebody while your health is slowly going up. Because if you get shot, you go back behind cover. You have to wait like 3 or 4 seconds till it starts to heal you. So another small fix that I think it's great.
That's a good
I think it's a great idea because people could abuse that, throwing like 3 or 4 med packs down whenever they're playing with a group of people, and then you're getting dominated because they're constantly regening their health. So
no, that's a good idea, man.
Yep. So Chris says you can still repair it in the chopper.
That sucks.
Yeah. Oh well. I can't win everything, but
shoot them down.
Oh well. But I am looking forward to playing Battlefield Hardline this week.
Yeah,
We'll see
me too.
how it rocks out. See if it's nearly as good as it used to be or not. Or see if it's nearly as good as it's going to live up to be. So if you're upset about the cops and robbers aspect of it, then like I said, $5 you can play the entire game. That's why I like Conquest a lot, because you can't tell it's cops and robbers. Besides the fact that you're called criminals or police. Besides that, it's no different than playing China or U.S. in, was it China or Russia?
Yeah, China, Russia.
Yeah,
I think was
on
Canada in
4.
Battlefield 4?
No, Canada's not in any video game. What are you talking? Besides hockey.
Canada. No, it should totally be Canada.
No, but
Canada versus the world.
The Hotwire
Battlefield
game
5.
mode, I've played it like twice. It seems pretty fun. It's pretty cool because I blew up a point with a rocket launcher and I got 4 kills. I was like,
Boom.
that felt pretty good.
There
I'm
you
not
go.
gonna lie. So
Yes.
so make sure to join us next week. We will be covering the Resident Evil Revelations 2 in full because Episode 4 comes out this week. Tommy, have you finished up Episode 2 yet?
No, I've barely started, so I got
Killing
some work
me.
to do.
Yeah, I'm almost done with Episode 3, and I have to say, just a prequel, this game's pretty fantastic so far. So
Yeah, pretty good.
hopefully Episode 4 lives up to the hype. I think it's going to have a great conclusion. I'm done with Claire up to this point, but I'm working on Barry and Natalia, and I'm really looking forward to Episode 4 to see what Claire and Moira are going to go through with the way it ended. And then the way that it works, I guess, is that they're 6 months apart. So Claire and Moira were on the island, and then they send out this transmission. Then Barry shows up, but it's 6 months later. So you're seeing like the desolation of everything that has happened 6 months later. So it's pretty awesome.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's great. So
Nice.
I think that's going to do it for this week, you guys. Once again, thanks for joining us. I am Tim,
Yes.
and to my internet
And
left,
I am Tom.
you got Tom.
Tom.
So make sure you guys come back and join us next week where we'll be discussing Resident Evil Revelations 2 in depth, and we'll be giving you guys our first impressions of the Battlefield Hardline actual game release. So it's going to be in the first week. It might be pretty bad. We might hound on the game a little bit. So if you're
Let's
really
hope
looking,
not.
yes, let's hope not. I
Hope not.
pray to the gaming gods that it's not bad. But DMC came out this week. If you don't own it and you own the Xbox One or the PS4 and you haven't played it, please pick it up and give this game a try.
Get it. Get it.
For $40, you can't go wrong. And you know what? You think it's a 9 or 10 hour game, you can play it. Probably trade it in for like $20-25 towards your hardline. There you go.
And if you don't like it, Tim will refund you.
Wait, what?
Yep.
No, I don't have that kind of money. I don't have that kind of money.
Yes.
I don't have that kind of money. All right, you guys. Well, once again, thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time.
Later.